joining us from Zimbabwe is Tafadzwa Sambiri, Team Pachedu Coordinator. Thank you very much for joining us. Your team has been one of the most vocal leading up to today. Would you say the shutdown was a success?
Hi, very good evening to you. From our point of view, the shutdown was a success. If you are following events in Zimbabwe, the president went on state television on Saturday evening and announced a raft of policy measures. And chief among them was our demand for an end to monopoly, which was put in place by the same person, the same guy, president. He put a monopoly on transport. So he effectively ended the monopoly on transport sector by allowing private players to participate in the transport sector, which means that private taxi operators could come on board, and they are on board. So we would say it was a success based on those demands that he brought down to our demands on an evening, on a hurry statement, on a hurried address. He had to try to avert a further protest, a looming protest, a large protest, by agreeing to some of our demands before even the 9th of May. So I would say based on that, it was a success, and most schools, most teachers, most colleges were closed today, with a few exceptions of vendors that were milling around in Harare, and they were also milling around. They were going to and from, commuting from the CBD using the same, the private sector taxis that we were advocating for. So it's a victory for the Zimbabwean citizens, but however, we still have a long way to go.
Okay, I was just going to ask, if you're satisfied, does that mean that there will be no further action to tell the government how the people are suffering?
No, there will be definitely further action. And for us as Team Pachedu, this was our first call for a shutdown as an organization, as a grouping, and we learned a lot of things from joining forces with the teachers, the students. So we have learned a lot, and we are going to spread our wings, and we are definitely going to be knocking on government doors. We are going to demand a lot of things, and chief among them from our side is the reform of the Electoral Act and the reform of the Zimbabwe Election Commission, which is not totally independent. So this is not yet game over. This is only 10% of what we wanted. There are still a lot of concerns there's still a lot of factors that are affecting the ordinary Zimbabweans. And as long as those issues are on the table, they're not yet addressed, we'll still be knocking on government doors. And now they know that we exist, they know that we are there, and we are planning more protests, more shutdowns in the next few months to come after consulting with our various stakeholders.
Okay, what would be at the focal point of your next agitation? Because it seems this had to do with salaries, which is also very crucial. The response that you've gotten so far, has it addressed most of the concerns you raised?
Not entirely. They only addressed the issue to do with transport sector by liberalizing the transport sector. They've allowed private players to participate again. But as far as the living wage is concerned, it is very low, very, very low, below the poverty line. And we are going to push and advocate for a US dollar-based salary for all civil servants, for all workers in Zimbabwe. Most of civil servants, they are barely making it. They cannot afford even to buy 2 kilograms of sugar with their monthly salary. That's how bad the situation is in Zimbabwe. So we have a raft of measures that we're going to put in place as an organization. We have a lot of demand that we have, and chief among them is a living wage, a better economy for all those that live in it and participate in it.
All right, let's go back to the actions of today. Were there incidents of violence or people being allowed to get to the business center?
No, we didn't report any. We didn't get any incidents of violence. We didn't get reports of anything to do with intimidation of people by our affiliate organization. But however, there were threats from the government departments, from the police, from the intelligence, from the others. House of Assembly representatives. They were attacking us. They were attacking the students. We have heard of intimidation and harassment of student leaders. They were getting calls, being summoned to appear at certain police station to other charges of inciting violence. But as you have seen, there was no violence, there was no looting, there was no destruction of property. So it's very typical of the Zimbabwean government to issue threats to anyone who raises their voice. So we are used to these kind of threats. But it's a worry for us as an organization, because what we're advocating for is entirely peaceful protest, which is guaranteed by the Constitution of Zimbabwe. But the same people that are supposed to police the Constitution are breaking the Constitution.
Yeah, protests has been